Lead King,
What's up?
Shane Hillier, and Austin Croman and myself. So we are super excited to be on the call with you all tonight. If you guys are watching live, make sure to use hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments below.
So let me ask just a quick question here.
Yeah.
Russ understands what this show's about, right?
I think so.
Did you tell him? Oh, you didn't tell him?
I told him it was, laid back. We talked about real estate marketing and drinks and whiskey.
Yeah, we kind of went over it a little bit. We talked about it.
You know that we try to get you drunk so we can steal your secrets, right?
That's cool. Look, I got a whole bottle of wine right here. This is my favorite kind.
There you go.
So I figured you guys are drinking whiskey, I'll drink wine, whatever.
There you go. You know what? I'll tell you, some of the strangest evenings have been after a glass of wine because I did not realize if you fill up a solo cup with wine, it's very different than a solo cup with beer.
Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, let's jump right into it, though. I'm Matt Kramer. You guys, for those of you who don't know me, and for us, I know we still haven't talked that much, but basically my background was real estate agent, 6 years now. No longer doing real estate myself, doing marketing for agents. Basically, a couple years ago, I got involved with a team. Look at him. He's showing off his drink.
We're all showing off our
whiskey.
our-
I got wine. I've got whiskey. Oklahoma just all this whiskey, right?
Just started allowing wine in grocery stores. So I'm celebrating Oklahoma wine.
Yeah, we just did that in Pittsburgh recently, man. It was a huge
Like every
deal.
other state now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys are finally catching up. Yeah, I was in the middle of the intro, but who cares? Whatever.
I think you're going to have to start right over because nobody was...
No one cares.
Gotta get real estate marketing at some point, and that's what counts, right? Shane, Austin, you guys all real estate marketing. So let's talk to our guests who really matters, right? So Russ, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be the Lead King.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, like 2016. Can you guys hear me okay? I have my microphone. Okay.
All good.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I was going through a really bad time in my life, and I quote unquote lucked out and got a good job at Solar City. I was selling solar, and they paid you 5 times as much if you generated your own leads. So I just did a little bit of research. How can I generate some leads? And all of a sudden, I got like 80 leads in one weekend for solar. And my second month at Solar City, I became number 1 of 700 because I generated all my own leads. Made a ton of money. Well, I thought I made a ton of money.
You don't know what exactly is solar. Like, what are you selling when you say you're selling solar?
Yeah, so what I was actually selling like solar panels to put on houses to generate electricity, right? And Solar City has since been bought out by Tesla, and that's kind of like where the downfall went for me. But in any case, they paid me like 5 times as much, and I was geeked up, man, because I was basically dropping like posts in buy sell groups, and I sent it to a survey, and I was generating tons and tons of leads to get solar leads, right? And I became number 1 of 700 in month 2. It was my first sales award I had ever won in my life, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna stay here forever, right? Well,
That's awesome.
long story short, Tesla bought Solar City. They scrapped that plan. Generating your own leads meant nothing anymore. I got out of a bad relationship, and I went into a downward spiral. Long story short, I ended up having to declare bankruptcy. I had 3 cars repossessed. I was suicidal for multiple months. The only thing that really kept me from killing myself was having kids that I didn't want to see find my dead body. So that's kind of like
Wow.
Yeah, that's the morbid. That's the rock bottom part of this, right? Oh, and by the way, in my
But you said so jolly.
It gets worse.
You brought the morbid part so like jolly.
Well, it's because it's all good now. But
Right.
Oh, and also in my past, I had a copy of every Super Bowl ever made, so I made a website called SuperBowlsOnDVD.com, and I put about $1.4 million of Super Bowl sales through that website. And the NFL sued me for $1 million. The IRS came after me for $119,000 in back taxes. I mean, my life was a disaster, man. I got out of the NFL lawsuit. That's another story for another day. How I got out of that. But basically, I took one of the cars that was about to be repossessed, and I crashed it into a wall. And I got the money from that, and I paid that money to an attorney to help me settle with the IRS, right? And he told me I had to live like a bum for 18 months, or the IRS wouldn't settle with me. So I ended up settling for $6,000. I declared bankruptcy, and then just on May 24th of this year, I had $80 in my bank account. It was my daughter's birthday the next day, and I had to decide whether to buy gas for my car or to buy my daughter a birthday gift. And I bought my daughter a birthday gift, and I was so mad at myself. I was like, "Oh my God, how did it get to this?" Right? And I swore to God I would never let it get there again. So what
That
I did,
was May 24th, like this past May, or like a couple years ago?
no, like this May, like this
6 months ago.
all culminated this year, right? And
Wow.
so I figured, well, I could generate solar leads, and I had a lot of connections in the real estate business because I had also got a real estate license, and so I figured, what the hell, I'll just try to generate some real estate leads, and so I was hitting up people. I was like, hey man, can I run your Facebook ads for $50? And if I do a good job, I'm gonna take screenshots and you'll give me a good review, right? And they would pay me the $50, and I get the screenshots and a good review. And as time went on, I got better and better. And I bought a couple courses. I kind of morphed what I was doing with what they were doing. And now I got a system in place where I can pretty much generate real estate leads at will anywhere in the country for about $2.80 average. And they're good quality leads. They come into a chat bot, and a lot of the times they'll tell you exactly what they want. So
Wow.
I went from charging, $50 to set somebody up to now I regularly charge like $1,500, $2,000, and it's worth it to them because they're getting return on investment when I do that. And that's kind of where I came from, man. And I mean, I went from laying on the floor with a gun to my head 2 years ago to life has totally turned around. And I could have never predicted this, but it was just all a matter of circumstances happening and me saying this shit is not going to happen ever again.
Yeah.
So
it was that hitting the rock bottom thing that really drew the line for you.
yeah, but see, I'm not your typical hit rock bottom guy. I had to hit rock bottom multiple times because I'm stupid like that. So I had to hit it. I had to rock bottom. Then I had to go to bankruptcy. Then I had to have a car repossessed. And I mean, it was just like one thing after another. It was like a machine gun to my life.
And this was after you'd made $1 million.
Yeah.
Doing NFL's Super Bowl recordings.
And I blew every cent of it because I knew it was illegal money, right? So I did really cool stuff with the money. I went to 2 Steelers Super Bowls, and I watched them win both of those Super Bowls. I took my kids to trips all over the country. I bought really cool cars. I mean, I did all kinds of cool stuff with that 1.4 million. Except for I have nothing to show for it today, right?
Right.
So, I have a lot of life experience. I've been extremely humbled. I would never act like the asshole that I was back in those days. I'm just thankful to have another chance to really, do something with my life again,
Yeah.
And, lead generation has really taken me to that place because since I've started making a bunch of money in lead gen, what I've done is I've reinvested most of it into learning new things. Like, I don't know if you guys know Kat Howell, but I invested into her academy. I dropped a big chunk of money to jump into her academy, and like I'm learning new things every day in that academy that it just blows my mind that I didn't know this before. So that's kind of my story. That's how I ended up where I am, and I'm kind of trying to branch out to other things, but really real estate's my bread and butter because I just got so good at it because I had to. Like if I didn't get good at that, I would have just sunk and it would have been over for me.
Well, and I think what you said there was really I guess insightful for myself because you didn't go and say, hey, if you're a small business owner, $50, I'll run your Facebook ads. You said, are you a real estate agent? You niched down right away.
Right.
And I mean, do you think that was a good choice? Looking back on it, to niche down that quick, or?
I do because what I've learned is, especially going through Kat's Academy, is Kat, she teaches to branch out, but when you branch out, you have to hire somebody that knows what the hell they're doing if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Right.
Since I niched out right away, I was able to get really good at it myself, so I didn't have to hire other people. So all the people that pay me, I keep the money because I do all the work, right? I don't need to outsource this stuff.
Right.
And then what happened was I got a following. I feel like if you go to my Facebook page, the Lead King page, like you'll just see review after review after results after results, and it's all because I've just practiced this over and over, just like anything else. If you do enough repetition, you get really good at it. And I did a lot of repetition in this one niche, and I got super good at it, and I kind of got a little bit of a following. So now when people go into groups and someone says, "Hey, who do you know who can generate leads?" A lot of times people will tag me and they'll say my name, and it's because I've got good results for them too. So yeah, I totally believe that niching is the way to start out. I really believe that.
Very nice.
Yep.
And so when you were starting out, I mean, you didn't really you had a real estate. You didn't really have a background in real estate. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you had a background in solar, and you just jumped into real estate because you had a real estate license. You knew real estate agents. Is that pretty much?
Well, to go a little bit further, I don't know if you guys are aware of Ryan Stewman, the hardcore closer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I was in one of his groups, and I came into contact with a guy who said to me, "Hey, listen, I'm in Cleveland. You're in Pittsburgh. If you get a real estate license, I will make you my buyer's agent in Pittsburgh, because you're in this networking group, and Ryan Stewman trusts you, so I trust you." So, long story short, I got involved with this guy. I got a couple of deals under contract, and he just didn't have the cash to pay for these deals. So I'm starting out my real estate career looking like an idiot because I'm pulling out of deals that I got under contract for this guy, right? So I'm not going to name names. It's just not worth it. But anyway, long story short, the guy just didn't have the cash to do what he said he was going to do. So I got into this thinking, oh, I'm going to have a hookup deal, and now I just have a real estate license, and I don't have anybody in the business to really, work with. So I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do with this real estate license? And I tried to think, am I going to sell real estate? Well, I just didn't have a mentor. I didn't know what to do. So I figured I could use having a real estate license to give me credibility to sell real estate leads, right? And so a lot of times what I was doing was I was testing the advertising I was running on myself. I was generating leads for myself, and then I was referring those to other people who were in my office locally. And so then in my advertising to agents, I'd call somebody up and say, hey, listen, I'm a real estate agent just like you. I've tried this on myself. I know that it works. And, if it doesn't work, I'll give you money back. And they're like, all right, cool. I'll do that, And so having the real estate license gave me a lot of credibility as a lead generator for real estate.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So when you got into it, though, I mean, still being new with the real estate side of it, like, I guess what were some of the challenges that you faced for other marketers? Because this group is mainly made up is marketers who are working with real estate agents and real estate agents who do their own marketing, right?
Right.
So when you were getting into it, I guess what was that learning curve like?
Well, to tell you the truth, I took a couple of free courses. I bought somebody's course, and then there's this guy Joseph Gonzalez. I don't know if you guys know that guy. He's a very active guy in the new real estate agents group. He offered a course where he would mentor you and show you how he does real estate lead generation, and you had to pay like $50, and if you got a deal, you had to give him a referral fee, right? And so I kind of morphed what he was doing with a course I bought with what I already knew, and I kind of morphed all three together.
And what was the first course you bought that kind of set you on the right course?
Yeah, so I bought this course.
Everybody's question, right?
I bought this course from this guy. You guys probably know the name. His name's William Hagman. You guys familiar with William? He has a group called the Social Agent. William's kind of pissed at me to this day because what I did. I'll just be honest. He's blocked me, threw me out of his group because he has a course and I bought his course, and his course was generating like $5 leads for me locally in Pittsburgh, right? So I was like, you know what, the hell with this. I could probably do this better. So the very beginnings of real estate lead gen, what I did was I took his course, I figured out what I could do a little bit better, and I made my own course, and I was selling it for $300, right? So William got pissed because he thought I stole all of his ideas, which, in all fairness, I probably did steal at least half the stuff in my course was probably his ideas, but that's innovation, right? Everybody just
you only still have.
Right, I only still have. and if he ever sees this, William, I love you, brother. I mean, you really got me on the right path. And I still would recommend
it. If he does ever see this, why did I get blocked when I just tried to join the group? Because I got blocked from the group.
Something that happened was William sold me all these pictures that I used in Facebook ads, and he got pissed off because I actually gave them to my clients after he sold the pictures to me. So anyway, long story short, I have no hard feelings with William. He's a great guy. He's a good lead generator too. But he really got me on the start because his course got me started at the possibilities of what was possible. And then I got with Joseph Gonzalez, and he
does. He has a very successful course with a lot of marketers, a lot of agents that are involved in it. I'm not actually bitter. I wish I could join the group and see what people are doing.
Well, the thing about William,
for new ideas.
William has like a wet dream of a marketer's group, right? Because his group is all about everybody in the group. All they do is say how great William is, and then they just recommend to him other people to buy his course, right? which is great. He has like
That's a great following. I mean, what is that? Seth Godin Tribes. I mean, that's key right there.
it's great, and he has like a cult following. I mean, I wish I had it too, but I don't. You know. So
What's
anyway,
his name?
what's that?
What's his name?
William
William
Hagman.
Hagman.
Yeah.
Let's go join his group.
He won't
I
let you,
tried.
man.
I tried.
He's a micromanager.
I was told by people in my group, and I won't name names, but apparently one of his head honchos or something like that, one of his moderators or something, is a member in my group, the Six Figure Agents. But I was, I was blocked when I attempted to join, so I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I would just, I'm always looking to learn. Alina says it's a huge love recommend fest.
So yeah,
I gotta
so
say my name in the group.
yeah, so long story short, what I did was I combined basically William Hagman with Joseph Gonzalez, and then I entered chatbots into the flow. And once I put chatbots in connection with lead forms, that's when stuff started blowing up. And I have agents that I work with now that are getting 20 to 60 times return on investment. It's just nuts. It's off the charts.
Well, absolutely, and a lot of agents don't see the actual return on investment because they don't stick with Facebook marketing for more than 30 days, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with chatbots, because actually that's kind of how I recognized you or noticed you was in the new real estate agents group, which that is a very interesting group. If you start talking about Facebook ads and you are not loved in the group yet, it can very quickly turn on you.
Yes.
I've noticed in that group.
It can very
Because
quickly.
like, he just wants to sell something, right? And you're
Right.
like, no, I was just offering some advice.
So you have a couple of factions in that group, right? So Jennifer, I believe her last name's Romano, owns the group. And
Oh yeah, Jennifer's awesome.
Yeah,
Love
so
Jennifer.
Jennifer used to be a former William client, and so she had a breaking up with William, and she started her own group. And so Jennifer has sponsors in the group. So if you're a sponsor in the group, you can basically post whatever the hell you want. If you're not a sponsor, they're gonna delete your stuff and ban it really fast, right?
Right. Right.
And shameless plug for Jennifer, because Jennifer's a friend of mine.
Mhm.
What she charges to advertise in that group is just so crazy low, like it's just insane.
Oh yeah. No, and I
Yeah.
did. I advertised in the group when
Yeah.
I was doing the 7-day challenge for real estate agents, and it's like nothing.
It is,
Right.
And the thing is I've talked to her multiple times. I'm like, Jennifer, I could probably, if you hired me as a salesperson, I could sell this for probably 10 times what you're asking. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to do what I'm doing. And she's such a nice, humble person. I love Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah.
But no, the group has a lot of great information. But it also does have a lot of sponsors. I almost feel like the sponsors market is somewhat saturated there. Which I think if you were, like I said, if you were to jump in and reduce some of the people that were not providing the courses or the training of value to just down to the people that are providing real value, I think that could assist in the group. But I mean, the group's 32,000 agents, so it's going strong.
Yeah, it really is.
And,
but see, you have these different factions in there, right? You have people that anytime they recognize they're a sponsor, they flip out and they're like, "Oh my god, he's just trying to sell me something." And I try to tell these people, look, if you don't want to buy it, just don't buy their stuff, right?
Don't get offended. Just say no.
Because there are a ton of people in there who will give you free information. They will help you. They're looking to help people.
exactly.
And there are also sponsors who want to sell you something. And a lot of times their stuff is really good quality. Like there was a guy in there that was selling he was selling cutting boards with custom laser engraved logos of your real estate company on them. And I mean, the guy
I have one of those in my kitchen from when I bought a house.
Yeah.
Even though I'm an agent, my lender gave me one of those, and I still use it. So.
And he sent me 6 of them as a promo. And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that they sell in that group is like high quality, man. It's really good stuff, Just because someone's a sponsor doesn't mean that they're a scammer,
No, absolutely. But I think the low barrier to entry does murky the waters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's basically if you have money, you're in.
Yeah, pretty much, and not a lot of money, right?
Right.
So, but that's how I noticed you. Is I noticed that you're doing a lot with chatbots. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with chatbots and why you've kind of chosen to go that route.
Yeah. So it's really weird how things happen for me. So one night I saw a guy on Facebook showing that he got 236 subscribers on a chatbot, right? And I jumped in and I said, "Hey man, do you have a course on that?" He goes, "Absolutely. Pay me $500 and I'll show you how I did it." So I paid him $500 and he showed me how he did it, right? And in all honesty, it was stuff I could learn on YouTube for free. but I didn't take action on it until I paid somebody money, and then I was, had skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, once I learned chatbots, I just had like these glaring lights go off in my head. Oh my god! Rather than having these people do emails and text messages, we can get them in real time, right? And so now what I do is I run them. This is my sequence, right? I'll just tell you. So I run an ad to an audience in whatever city we're doing, and that ad will go to a lead form. They give you their name, their email address, and their phone number. As soon as they hit submit, that information goes into your CRM manager, where it sends out automated emails and automated text messages as a drip campaign, right?
Okay.
But at the end of the lead form, there's a button.
On the thank you page?
What's that?
On the little thank you page?
Right, yeah, the confirmation page. I have it there that says whatever the lead magnet is, tap here to get your lead magnet. And also, just to let you know, our virtual assistant is going to give you this through Messenger. The key to this, what I've noticed, is that if you tell them it's coming through Messenger,
I like that. Yeah, what
so
you just
much
mentioned right there, I think you were starting to go over it quick, but that was really big, is that you're telling the client ahead of time the virtual assistant is going to message you via Messenger.
Right.
So you're letting them know to expect it. Because I think a lot of people get a chatbot message and they don't click the get started, right? They don't know what they're supposed to do.
It's because they freak out. They've never seen it before, right? So
Right.
what I've noticed is that 25 to 30% higher conversion of get started happens when I tell them that it's going to happen. And that made a lot of difference when I started putting that right in the form. So they
Guys, if you guys watching right now, hashtag value bomb, that's huge. I think that is huge. You said 25 to 30% more likely to opt in?
Right, because they expect it, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And here's another value bomb, right? And this sounds so simple, but most people don't do it. When you click to get started, most people just have a blank screen and they hope that the person knows to click get started. There is in ManyChat, there's an option to click on their a welcome message. If you fill in that welcome message, you just click on the settings button and it's right there. It's the first screen you see. You can tell them click the get started button below, and then what you do is you put little arrows down to like show them where to get started. Because what I notice is a lot of people online, if you don't tell them exactly what to do, they won't do it, right? So
absolutely.
In the welcome
Shane,
message,
you said that how many times?
yeah, right. If you tell them tap the get started button, they usually will tap it as long as you tell them that Messenger's going to do it. And those
so the welcome message is where? That's in the I'm trying to think here. With chatbots, I haven't built anything out in a long time.
So when you're logged into ManyChat, if you go to settings, it's the very first screen that pops up, and it's usually blank, right?
Greeting text.
Greeting text. That's what it's called.
Okay, and you put something along the lines of click get started to get started.
Right. So if you're offering a list of homes as your lead magnet, you say tap get started below to get your list of homes instantly, and then you put like 4 down arrows. And for people that don't know, on desktop computers, if you go to a website called emojipedia.org, I believe, or it's either emojipedia.com or .org. You can
Emojipedia, you have all the emojis.
Yeah, you can do it on desktop. It's awesome, right?
Let me see. Let me see if this is gonna let me share my screen. I can show it real quick.
Okay.
1 second here. Oh no! Apparently, I have the wrong package. Anyways.
So anyway, if you do that
really well, you go to settings and then you go to greeting text.
Right, greeting text.
So cheap, Matt.
I know.
Now,
My bad.
real quick though, I have to tell you guys this too. There is a glitch with ManyChat that sometimes the greeting text won't work, no matter what you do. So
Hang on. I'm sorry. Did we just get spammed? I'm gonna be pissed if we got spammed.
I can't see the comments.
Let the mustache marketer have awesome video. We did. We got spammed. Alex. He dropped value bomb and then spammed us. Come on, man. Don't be a dick.
That's not his, eh?
Get out.
I don't know. Yeah, I know the guy.
Okay.
Do you really?
It's not his.
Okay.
I think he's trying to add,
Add value. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's trying to add value.
You're trying to add a value bomb. Okay. All right, Alex. We forgive you.
But don't add somebody else's videos when we have a guest on here. Like, come on.
Post that in the group and tell us a little bit about what you're posting before you post it. Don't just post it right in there. We were a little bit concerned, Alex. So thank you for adding the help.
So whiskey's your
Right.
drink of choice then?
What's that?
Whiskey's your drink of choice?
It is. It is. You know, I grew up out in the country, so a little Fireball goes a long
It's
way.
every day, all day long.
Nonstop.
That's why Shane does all the sales calls.
Yeah, that's
So are you guys like you guys are partners?
yeah, we all
Oh, okay, cool.
We all work together on different projects, so it's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Nice. Oh, so something I wanted to add real quick though.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying.
So what was that setting called again? I forget the name of it.
Greeting text.
Greeting
In
text.
Settings, it was greeting
Okay,
text.
so there is a glitch on ManyChat that it doesn't work all the time. So there's sometimes you'll test it and you'll be like, damn, why isn't that working? The way around that, the hack to fix that, is you go to the page you're running that ManyChat to, and you go to about on that page, and anything you want to go in that area, that greeting text, you put it in that about section on that Facebook page, and it will automatically fill into there.
Say that one more time.
Okay, so the greeting text, right?
Mhm.
If it doesn't work, because sometimes it doesn't, just because ManyChat has glitches.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, his face is
I'm
all up
trying
there.
to focus on it.
It's like, what are you looking at?
He's
And
distracting as
I was
hell.
telling Alex it's all good. I don't want him to feel like I'm mad at him because I didn't know he's helping, but I was just nervous that we were getting some spam in there. I was like, wait, what?
Alex is always spamming.
We love you, Alex. Thanks for watching, man.
He's a big supporter. So
But anyways, yeah, if you could go through that one more time.
Yeah, let's go to that.
Austin's really distracting.
Austin is.
We can only see his chin, man.
Check it out. We can see his teeth.
Austin, it's time to get glasses, bro. You gotta get a little further away from the screen.
I have my I don't know where they're at. My gamer glasses.
His gamer
They're
glasses.
awesome, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so greeting message, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't work all the time. Sometimes there's a glitch, and you have to test it every time on a mobile device to see if it's working or not. Because it will never work on desktop or laptop. It just won't show up. So you have to test it on a mobile device. If it's not working on a mobile device, the hack to fix that glitch is you go to the Facebook page that you're running that ManyChat bot from, and you go to the about section, and anything you want to go in that space for the greeting text, you just put it in that about section on that Facebook page, and that will auto import into the ManyChat bot. It took me forever to figure that out because I just couldn't figure out why the hell can't I get this to work. And then I finally one day figured it out. And it's very important because if you do not have a greeting text, you will convert it 25 to 30% less.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great eye opener just for me because when I use bots just to organize the group and kind of let people know when things are starting. But a lot of times people won't know to click the get started button, right? Because it's kind of a new thing and nobody's been educated on this. It's just randomly all of a sudden there.
Right.
So that's a really, really huge tip, and we thank you for sharing that.
And I think the other thing too is that you see a lot of new marketers that obviously there's a lot of hype around chatbots, and for good reason, right? I mean, in the e-commerce space, they work really, really well, and in a lot of other industries, they work well. But when you get into real estate, I think it's a little different. So you see a lot of new marketers that are trying to implement chatbots, and the campaigns are failing because I think the audience is just not sure how to utilize those chatbots directly from the ads. And so I've seen it over and over again with people, like Russ, that's experienced with this, where you're collect the information first and then send them off to the chatbot so that at least you have their contact info. And then if they decide to go through with the chatbot, now you have, you can nurture them through the chatbot, you got their social profiles, and, so
right.
I think that's a big thing, especially in the real estate industry.
One of the things that everybody thinks they need to do is run this through a JSON, right? In the ad format, run it through a JSON so that as soon as they get involved, they go right to the chatbot.
Yeah, I don't use JSON at all, man. And the reason I don't use the JSON is because what I find is the cost per click on a JSON is so much higher than everything else that it just doesn't make it cost effective to run a JSON. So what I just described was the process I use for generating buyer leads. However, when I run seller leads, what I do is I run an ad directly to a home valuation chatbot. And before they get their home valuation, they have to give their name, their email address, their phone number, and how long it is until they want to sell their home. They will not get their home valuation until they give out that information. Some people won't give it, but at least they're opted into the chatbot, and you can still follow up with them, right?
Well, tell us one more time. What is the information that you're requesting?
So the ad tells them that they're going to get a home value, right? An updated and accurate home value.
Right.
So when they click to it, it says once they click get started, it's gonna ask them their address information, and then before they get to that, it asks them their email address and their phone number, and then it asks them also what their time frame for selling the house. And I give them multiple options. I say never will sell it. I want to sell it right away, 1 to 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and etc. Right.
Okay.
Once they provide all that information, then they get their home valuation instantly in the chatbot. And then,
That's awesome. So how are you providing the instant valuation? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually just released a course on it. It actually shows how to build the whole entire home valuation chatbot yourself and how to run the exact ad that I run.
Okay.
The reason why I actually built that was because I was selling these chatbots that did home valuations, and people were like, "Yeah, it's awesome, it's cool," and then they would come back to me in 2 days and be like, "Well, what do I do with it now?" So what I started to do is I just made a course of what the hell to do with it, because it was just costing me so much time to. Basically, what they were doing was later they were hiring me to run their ads to their chatbot. So now I just made them a course on how to do it, right? And it seems to be working out really well for people. And yeah, so really all it is it's learning how to do a Zillow API pull. So what you do is most marketers do is they do the Zillow API pull on an offsite server, right? And then you can't have access to it. You can't clone the bot. You're just screwed, and you just have one of them, right?
And for those of you guys who are watching, #live in the comments below, #replay if you're watching the replay, we're about to get technical, so continue the rest.
Don't worry. Honestly, if you guys have any questions, just ask me. I'm very available through Messenger, and I'm very friendly. I'm not a dick on Messenger. Man, I am getting a little bit of a buzz though. So anyway,
so cheers, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers up, brother. So anyway, what most people do is they run an API pull on a server off away from you, right? So then they control your API pull. What I teach is to run the API pull through Zillow or through Zapier, and then that way you can control the whole thing yourself through your own Zapier API pull. And I know that sounds super technical, but you control the whole process when you don't hire a developer. And the reason why I did this was because I paid a developer $5,000 to make me a home valuation bot. And what happened is that he ran that off one Zillow API key. And so I sold that bot to like 20 people, and they all used it the same day, and it crashed because there was too many API pulls on it, right? I'm like, oh, hell no, I can't have this happening, because everybody wanted a refund. And because all their bots crashed, right? So I had to find...
So there was some failure in the past 6 months when you were trying to go from $80 to where you're at now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was initially we were looking at like, oh my God, this guy's an angel. He just went from nothing to everything, right?
No, believe me, I have failures every day.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
That particular failure, or failures in general?
Well, so
I want to know all of them.
Let's run through the Zillow API pull, and then let's go into your challenges, because I think people want to hear more about that, because I think that's really relatable. We've all had a lot of challenges, and we see these people who go from 0 to 10K in 30 days, and it's always like, okay, I can do it, and then you start doing it, and you realize that you don't know what you're doing,
right?
And you give up, right? But if you don't give up, there's so much more out there. We'll get to that in a second, but in the meantime, let's go back to the Zillow API pull.
Right.
Yeah, and then we can talk about the challenges I have working with Matt and all his from back and forth on all kinds of things here.
Yeah, so
we'll talk about that course in a little while.
So once I realized this technology was possible, I wanted a chatbot that would do that. Mm-hmm. So what did I do? I went to Fiverr. Of course, that's where everybody goes, right? Of course. Yeah. And I hired a developer, and he's like, "Yes, so for $5,000 I can build this for you." So I paid him $5,000, right? And he builds me this great chatbot, but it's built in Chatfuel, which I don't really know much about, and I don't really prefer to use that platform.
Okay, so you're on ManyChat?
Yeah, I prefer ManyChat. I just think it's so super user friendly. I prefer it.
And you hired the Russian from Rocky? Is that the voice you were doing there?
No, that was an Indian voice.
India.
Nothing against Indians, man. I love
I'm thinking
Indians.
Slovakian is kind of what I was.
Sorry about that. So anyway, he built me this chatbot, and I mean it's a badass chatbot. I'll share it with you if you want to see it. The problem was is I sold it 20 times, and then everybody was using it. And what happened is he linked it to only one Zillow API key, and if you have over 500 hits on that in a day, it's going to crash and it's not going to work anymore. So all these people that bought this chatbot from me were like, "Yeah, man, my chatbot crashed. It's not working, right?" So now I have all these people that want refunds from me because they bought a chatbot that's no longer working. I go back to the developer and he goes, "Yes, sir. It was only for you. You weren't supposed to clone that chatbot and sell it to other people." And I'm like, "Well, I need to. So what do I do?" And he just blocked me and ignored me. so I was out like, shit. I did like $5,000 in refunds in one day.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I gonna do, right? I mean, it wouldn't be fair to keep their money because I sold them chatbots that don't work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to find a better way. So what I found was a way to give an individual Zillow API key to each person that makes a home valuation chatbot. And so now each person has 1,000 API pulls per day, and you're not probably going to go over that, you know.
Maybe.
Yeah, Matt just dropped out, by the way.
Oops. That's okay.
He's back.
Oh, there it is.
It happens. That's Be Live, man.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like it. Actually. It's cool. So that was one of my big things, right? So like that was my first major setback because I had went from 0 to 10,000 really fast, and when I lost $10,000 or $5,000 real fast, it was a major hit to my bank account, right? But if I didn't refund that money, they were going to do chargebacks anyway, so I had to refund the money, you know.
Right.
And it was just the right thing to do, you know.
Yeah.
So once I figured out this new way to do it, now everybody that has their chatbot has their own API key, and that will never happen again, which is great, you know.
Okay, and your course kind of dives into how do they get their own API key and all of that.
Yep, it shows every single step of the way. In fact, a guy from, and the thing is I don't believe in being a dick to people. Like this guy bought my course today.
Good for you.
Yeah, he had like 7 agents. He's like, can all 7 of them log into the course and use it? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I don't care. Some people will like, no, only one. You have to buy it 7 times. Like, man, that's just not fair, right? And so like, if you log into it and you go through the process, you can literally take any zip code of the United States, run it to a home valuation chatbot, and you can probably get a listing within a month, right? And I know that doesn't sound great, but if you're spending, say you spend $800 in ad spend and you get a listing and you sell that house, you're getting like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 right for that listing when it sells. So
Absolutely.
I always talk to people in terms of return on investment. Don't look at the individual lead because the vast majority of the leads are going to suck. But that one lead that gets you paid is going to get your return on investment through the roof.
Absolutely.
And say that again. I just want people to hear that again. Because here's another guy that's really experienced. I'm sure, Russ, you've generated thousands of leads. So say that one line again.
So do not focus on the individual lead. Focus on the big picture. You could spend $800 in ad spend, and then at the end of the day, if you close one deal, you're going to get massive return on your investment, right? Because I had a guy, and I'm not going to name his name. When I first started working with this guy, I brought in a lead for him that was, I think it was $1 million listing, right? And he was like, no, it was a buyer lead. And he told the people, go to the open house, see if you like it, and then tell me if you like it, and we'll write up an offer. And I was like, what are you doing? That's a $20,000 commission. He goes, yeah, that's a low house where I live. It was just someplace in Southern California. And he lost that deal because they went and they probably made an offer with somebody else. Now,
absolutely.
Long story short, this particular client has actually made a 60x return on investment working with me. But that was, I had to like yell at him, like, dude, if you're gonna do this, I can't work with you because you just lost out on a deal because you were lazy as hell,
Right.
But some of these agents, they work in markets where the average home sale is like $2 billion, so they won't deal with an $800,000 client, right?
So
Like in Pittsburgh, the average home sale price is like $180,000, right?
Yeah,
I would,
right.
dude, I would do anything to get an $800,000 buyer. You know?
Right, right. And that's exactly right. Because, I mean, 99% of the country is not selling $800,000 homes.
Right, but some of these realtors, man, like, they just don't understand how good they have it because their home sale values are so high. Like, oh, if it's not 1.5 billion, I don't want it. Well, why not? You know?
Well, sell two 800,000 and you're there. You beat it.
Exactly. So anyway, this particular guy and I have had conversations, and he takes all of them out. So, which is good.
Hey, so I have a technical question because this is something that drives me nuts about chatbots. Nobody ever has an answer for this, but so
yeah, don't set them up or anything.
What's that?
Don't set them up or anything.
No, it's just a question I ask everybody that's doing chatbots because it's just one of those things that. Anyways, whatever. And guys, if anybody has questions, this is the time to ask, especially about chatbots. We got Russ here, and so when the agents, when the agents actually get the leads through the chatbots, are you encouraging them to engage with those leads if they start asking different questions, or is the chatbot handling everything?
Yeah, so I have a sequence that I send them through, and at some point the sequence stops, right? And I highly encourage the agents to jump in there at any given time where they feel it's appropriate. So my particular chatbot on buyer leads sends them through, do you want this list of homes, and are you pre-qualified, and blah 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 blah. And finally, it asks them, would you like a custom list of homes for exactly what you're looking for? If they say yes to that question, agents need to jump in there right away and engage that person, because what I'm finding is when they jump in there immediately, what they're doing is they're building a relationship, they're building trust, and they're getting appointments. And if you get an appointment, bam, you got them as a client, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
if you look at my personal Facebook page, and I make this stuff all public, so if you just look up Russ Ward Facebook page, I post time after time after time of people that where they come into their chatbot, and the chatbot engages them, and then the realtor jumps in and they say, okay, great, would you like to meet at Starbucks, and we can talk about what you need. So I don't recommend you do it instantly. Like, let the chatbot run its course, and then as soon as the communication stops, then jump in and continue the conversation. And also, a good tip is let them know, hey, you're talking to a real person here. What questions do you have for me? Because a lot of people know that they're talking to a chatbot, but if you let them know they're talking to a real person, then they'll respond to you better.
Yeah. So with that being said, my question is, how do you interrupt the chatbot?
So the problem with ManyChat, at least, is that if it's on a sequence, you can't really stop it. But once they get to a stopping point, that's when you can jump in and not really look stupid, right?
Okay.
So
as long as the sequence is stopped, then you can actually interrupt it and start talking back and forth with the person.
And a stop sequence would be like if the chatbot asks the question and they don't answer the question to the chatbots to get it on to the next step, then you can jump in and the chatbot won't jump in any further.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And how often do you see that where they're not clicking the option which is put right in front of them, which may be yes or no, and they're writing down their answer, and then it stops your whole flow?
Right. So when I'm doing home valuation chatbots, that happens all the time. It happens very often. And I think what's happening there is, this is just me thinking, like, what the hell is going on? I can't prove this. But what I think that is happening is there's like, oh shit, if I hit get started here, then maybe someone's going to blow me up. So another thing I learned from Ryan Stewman, even though I'm not in his group anymore, there's a couple things that I learned from the guy that I'll never forget. One of the things is always hide the salesman. So this is a truth bomb.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so all the ads that I run personally and that I run for my clients never go from a real estate agent's page. So all my pages are people in places of something. So when I run my own ads, it's people in places of Pittsburgh, and it says, would you like a list of all the homes under, say, $180,000 in Pittsburgh? It comes from people in places of Pittsburgh. All the way through to the end of them filling out the lead form, they don't even know that I'm a real estate agent. The first time they know I'm a real estate agent is when they get into the chatbot and it says, hi, I'm Russ Ward. I'm a real estate agent, right? And what I've noticed is that if you run it from a realtor page versus a people in places of whatever the hell city you're from, again, it's a 20 to 30% difference in lead generation.
Wow.
And people don't understand, like, that's a really big number. You know?
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, 20 to 30% doesn't seem like a lot until you look at it in scale.
yeah,
It's like $4 to like $2.80.
exactly. And that's why I'm getting $2.80 leads nationwide. And there's some states where, like, I can tell you right now, if you hired me to generate leads for you in Tennessee, I would get them for anywhere from $1 to $1.50. Right? And that's if I run it from a people in places of Nashville, Tennessee page, right? But if I'm running it from Russ Ward, Realtor of Tennessee, those leads are going to cost you anywhere from $3.80 to $5.50. And
So how do you handle the argument then of, well, we want to brand ourselves when we're doing this?
Yeah, you know, and I tell them, look, you can do that. If you want to brand yourself, you're going to pay extra, right? It's really, do you want to brand yourself or do you want leads? It's one or the other. It's not both. You know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey guys, go ahead and keep going with the questions. I'll be right back. I gotta make sure the kids are good.
I'm out of questions.
You got a question? All right. Go ahead.
Austin, you got any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Well, I was thinking about the chatbot, and you know, you use the chatbot I've used. Have you ever tried just sending straight to the chatbot, or why lead forms over that, and why not landing pages with a messenger? Like, why lead form? Just because it's simple, you just have a good process. Have you tested other things? I'm just asking, like, why is that the method?
That's a really good question. So what I've found is that about 40 to 60% of people who opt in as a lead form will actually opt into the chatbot. So because the chatbot technology is somewhat new, not everyone's comfortable with it, and they want to all opt into it, right? So what I've found is that in areas such as, there's two states that I have massive difficulties in, Colorado and Arizona. Those two places the lead costs there are just so high. I just don't understand it. And so what I've done with people that I work with there is I send them directly to the chatbot, because what we're doing is we're getting cost per click rather than cost per lead, right? And so if we send them directly to the chatbot, we still have them as a chatbot lead, but we don't have all the information we collected on the lead form, right? And so that's the instance where I'll send them directly to the chatbot if the lead just isn't converting. If I get up to like $8 in ad spend and I haven't generated a lead yet, I'm going to stop that campaign and I'm going to send it directly to a chatbot. And I'm going to see if I can get like 32-cent clicks to the chatbot. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Yep.
So did you just say you were running traffic to the chatbot if you couldn't get it from the lead form?
Yeah. So I was saying that
Switch it out, they'll kind of test out.
in Colorado and Arizona, I have a lot of trouble generating leads for a good price. I think Arizona I average like $6, and in Colorado I average like 12, which is off the charts way too high for me.
Okay.
So what happens in those states, if like anytime it gets up to like $8 in ad spend and I don't have a lead generator, I'll stop the campaign and I'll run it directly to the chatbot. And then what we'll do is we'll get them into the chatbot. Now it's not as high quality of a lead because it's not double opted in, but at least it's a lead, right?
Right.
And it's just, I don't know what it is about those two states, but those are the two hardest states that I have not been able to absolutely crack.
I would agree with that.
What about Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, San Diego, New York City? Have you run any in those areas?
So I run ads all around Los Angeles, but not downtown Los Angeles.
Okay.
So like Southern California area, I get really good lead prices. I get like anywhere from like $2 to $3 in Southern California.
Okay.
I have not done anything in New York City because I just don't have any clients in New York City. Nobody ever came to me from New York City. However, I did do some on Long Island, and they weren't too bad. They were like $3.50 a lead on Long Island. So Sacramento, surprisingly, is like $2.20 a lead out there, which is really
wow.
Cool. Yeah. California is not too hard if you do the targeting right. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you some truth bombs right here too. I'll tell you my targeting, and it's not really that hard. So if you optimally what you want is you want 160,000 people. If you can get 160,000 people, you're gonna get leads for an average of $2.80. somewhere in the vicinity of that. And what I do is I just target people that like the real estate sites. They like Realtor.com, they like Trulia, they like Zillow, and they like things associated with that, right? If we can get, say, an audience of 25 and up that likes those things for 160,000, we're gonna get massive, great results. What I find is if we can't get that, and what I'll do is I'll just take it super broad, and I'll just take the whole entire audience of that whole city, and I'll just make it women 25 and up, and that converts like crazy. Because what I find is 70% of my clickers on my ads are women, 30% are men.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's
So
very cool.
yeah, so if I'm like, for instance, in Central Oregon, right? It was one of my very first failures that I had. It was my first client that ever fired me, and she was like, "Look, these ads are like, $8. You telling me I was going to get them for $3? She fired me, and I just couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So the next client I took in Central Oregon, I just ran it to an audience of women 25 and up. Facebook algorithm optimized that, and now I'm getting leads there for like $3.50.
Wow.
And that's the audience I'm running in Central Oregon, right? So anytime that an audience just sucks and it's just not converting, just do women 25 and up, and it converts very well.
Very cool.
Yep.
Hey guys, we got a bunch of questions here too.
Yeah, I'd say we have a bunch of questions. Shane, you want to do this?
A lot of them, I don't know, mine keeps locking up here, so I can't really read it.
I see one of them. Do you feel? Let's see. Well, chatbots were shut down a while ago on Facebook. Do you think there's a risk of that happening again if it's abused?
I came into chatbots after that happened, so I didn't really experience that drama of that thing. So I don't really know. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that would happen again. So I'm quite honestly, I'm fearful of that myself. So I don't really have a good answer for that.
And that's why you go to lead forms first.
That's one of the reasons I go to lead forms, because
one of the
I know the
reasons
lead forms are going to convert. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say my thought on that is that it's not going to happen again, because I think the reason that happened was the whole Cambridge Analytica situation.
Right. I agree with that.
I think that's the reason that they shut it down. I don't know that they shut it down for the purpose of shutting it down as much as they shut it down for the purpose of people hearing it was shut down and that they were working on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Let's see. Do you feel chatbots are best used with younger users, or do you eliminate the older folks with chatbots?
I've seen everybody.
That's a great question.
That is a good question.
It's just get rid of all the old
You
people.
got to look at Facebook. I mean, I think statistically, the average user is around 55 years old. Is that not
Is that
right?
true?
I mean, the Facebook, or maybe I'm.
I don't think that's
I think I'm referring to real estate agents.
Right.
The average real
Yeah,
estate
I
agent.
think you are. I think I've heard that too. 55-year-old woman or something like that.
Let me tell you in full
Facebook
disclosure.
has been growing drastically in the older generation, as opposed to like Snapchat, which is right now, that 20 to 30 range.
Why don't we poll our audience to find out how old everybody is?
I have a 15-year-old daughter, and my daughter told me that nobody under 30 years of age uses Facebook anymore. That's what she told me.
I know, that's what my kids tell me. They're
Yeah.
like, only old people use Facebook.
And I'm like, what are you kidding me? Like, back in the day, only young people use Facebook, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I had Facebook when you had to have a college ID to get a Facebook. It was
I remember that.
From the Facebook to Facebook.
Yeah.
The Facebook.
Dude, we're aging ourselves.
I know, right? No, so you wouldn't say that you're isolating an older generation, though, by using a chatbot.
As long as you tell that older generation up front what's going to happen, I think it's okay. But in your ad or somewhere along the way, you have to let them know it's going to open in Messenger, or they're still going to freak out. What I found was when I started telling them it was going to open in Messenger, the results went through the roof. So every ad I run or every conversion page that I run, it always tells them it's going to open in Facebook. It's going to open in Messenger.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Keith asks, what's a lead? Is it someone that goes to the end of the chatbot, or just an email, name, and phone number?
A lead is a lead. A lead is a lead is a lead. That's what.
Yeah, so with my clients, a lead is somebody who gives you their name, email, phone number, and they're interested in real estate. To me, that's a lead.
Right. Yeah. And the chatbot's kind of like the frosting on the cake, right?
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what it has been, but in the last week, I've I've had so many people pull deals out of chatbots. Like they're just like, I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in this area, and if you can give me this, I'll buy it. And I've had that happen like 10 times in the last week with my clients. It's just amazing.
It's awesome. And you're tracking all the sales and everything?
Actually, no, I'm not. I should be. Really, what I do is I screenshot all these cool chatbot things and I post them all on my Facebook page.
That's all you need, man.
Because really,
That's fair.
if I did track these things, I could see how many millions of dollars are being generated with this, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, no, a conversion rate, it's always a good thing because I think every agent asks, what's the conversion rate on these leads, right?
Right.
But the hard thing is, if you give it to 3 different agents, you give them 100 leads each, you're going to get 3 different conversion rates.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So, Aaron is asking, so do you guys,
Aaron, my man, what's up?
what's going on, Aaron? Aaron was on here a couple weeks ago, so if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. It was really, really
Yeah, he
good.
was awesome. He was a good guy. Yeah.
It was pretty epic. So, do you do a one-time fee for the chatbot, or hang on, somebody else commented, or do you do a monthly fee?
Yeah, so everything I've done so far has been a one-time fee. And the reason I do it like that is because the way I set it up is that if I set it up correctly, after 30, I give you 30 days of support. After 30 days, it should just run seamlessly, and then I put you into my personal clients group. And if something messes up, like for instance, I have like 50 clients. It sucks ass. Like this month, because of targeting I've done like months ago for them, I have to change all the targeting because Facebook eliminated that targeting, right? I never abandon anybody. I never leave them out cold, but I always charge just a one-time fee, and that's it. And the reason I do that is just because I feel like if I'm not doing work for you on a monthly basis, I shouldn't be charging you on a monthly basis, And,
Makes sense.
and the truth is I'm really not doing. Once I set this thing up for you and I optimize it and I get it working, I'm pretty much not doing any more work for you. And that's so I don't feel good about charging you monthly for something that I'm not doing.
Well, that makes sense. Alex Joy. Alex, we love you, bro. Sorry about that earlier.
Alex is back. That's awesome.
I was like, wait, who is this Alex guy?
He just changed his name. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't recognize him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah, he likes his last name better now.
I like it. I like Alex Joy. It sounds cheerful.
Yeah.
I won't say joyful because that'd be too cliche. But anyways, how do you call the fan pages you run the ads from? People in Nashville, for example, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I always call it people and places of whatever city you're from.
People and places of
Right.
whatever city you're from.
So like I'm like for me personally in Pittsburgh, I'm people and places of Pittsburgh. And the background image I make is like of something that the local people know, but not nationwide people would know, right? So I'm not big on putting a picture of the city. Like my background picture of people and places of Pittsburgh is like this snowball guy that works on the north side, and only people that live in Pittsburgh would know about this guy, right? The more niche and local you can make your images and everything you have to do with it, the better it's going to convert because they're going to believe that you're legit, right?
Okay, so when you say a snowball guy, tell us a little bit about what that means because I'm really confused.
All right, so yeah, not
Like a mascot, Pittsburgh.
actually the snowball guy is like
Snowball guy. Come on, man.
in
He
Pittsburgh
is.
we call snowball is like an ice
Awesome.
ball.
The Canadian.
Right? It's like ice shaved into, and then you pour a flavor on top, right?
Okay.
And so
No more confusion. Move on.
yeah, so what I'm saying is like make it local to your area, whatever the hell you call it where you live, call it that, and then hide the fact that you're a realtor. I know real estate agents love to promote themselves everywhere, and they're encouraged to do that. But when you're running Facebook ads, it's the last thing you want to do because that's inhibiting you from getting people to opt into your page.
So how do you deal with the legalities of agents that have to be one click away from all their information?
Yeah, it's just something you have to deal with, right? So some states are like that.
Just
And
ignore that part of it.
So basically, what you're telling me is that you're running it yourself as not a real estate agent. You're selling the leads.
right. So
But I think that is actually the way around it.
it is the way around it. So my company, my actual business name is Premium Performance Marketing LLC, right? So Premium Performance Marketing is running your ads for you, not Russ Ward, the real estate agent. So I can say whatever the hell I want in my ads, and I don't have to name who the real estate agent is because I'm just generating leads, right? So
It's kind of like when real estate agents buy leads off of Zillow, right? Because Zillow doesn't tell you who the agent who owns Zillow is.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
It's the same
something
thing.
like that.
Right. And another thing is I think a lot of agents get caught up in like the very details of things. Man, we shouldn't really care about these details. Like, who cares what the page is called? Who cares what the list of homes is? All we want is their name, email, and phone number so we can follow up with these people. Once we get them in as a lead, we can do whatever the hell we want with them. What I find is one of the like biggest holdback factors of a lot of agents that I work with is like, oh my god, is the list that I'm sending them perfect? It doesn't matter. I don't even care if we send them a list or not. We just want, if that person says, hey, you didn't send me the right list, cool, that starts the conversation. All I want to happen is that we start a conversation with you and we get you into a contract. That's all we want.
I love it.
You know?
I love it. We have a couple more questions here. Florence Adrian is asking, what format are the home lists sent and generated on the fly? Are you actually sending an immediate homes list, or are they giving you the criteria and your agent creates that and sends it out to them?
So there's two options. They can opt in to have an agent create them a custom list for exactly what they're looking for, or they can find a homes list of, like, say for instance, $3.99 and below, right? So what I have is the agents go into the multi-list, generate a list of homes $3.99 and below in their area, and give me a link to that, and then I paste that right into the chatbot. And so when they tap the button on the chatbot, it just pops that list right up.
Okay. And Florence is also asking, what's the equivalent to Zillow API in Canada? Are you running any ads in Canada right now that you're using the home evaluations for?
I'm not, but actually I saw somebody post today that Zillow just went to Canada yesterday. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you could probably use it with Realtor.ca, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they have an API though. I've been able to run very successful buyer leads campaigns in Canada. I just haven't run any seller leads in Canada at all because of that holdback. So
okay.
Yeah.
And Jared Skagen is asking, what types of ads or strategies are you running or utilizing to get realtors to be the clients? You know, what is your offer to realtors? I think he's actually referring to what is your client acquisition strategy? How are you acquiring clients to create this for?
Right. So how
Is that right, Jared?
the way I'm doing that, and this is gonna sound crazy. Ever since I've started this, I've never run a Facebook ad to acquire a client. All I've done is posted my results on social media and had people give me reviews. Social media results, reviews, social media results, reviews, and that has. I'll show you, like, you know what? I don't even know where it went. So on my phone every day, I have a calendar of people that want to talk to me, right? And they want to talk about lead generation. I have no idea how these people get on my calendar, but they get on my calendar. And the reason they get on my calendar is because they see social media results and they see reviews and they see a link somewhere to get onto my calendar.
So maybe the better question then would be, how are you achieving the reviews that you're getting in order to choose? Well, yeah, obviously you're getting results, but how do you go get the people to get the results for it if you don't have reviews?
Maybe the better question is, how did you get your first client?
Yeah, so what I did was I just reached out and said, hey man, I'll run your Facebook ads for $50. And they're like, all right, I'll give you a shot, right? And as results got better and better and better, I charged more and more money, right? But what I did.
Sorry, Russ, let me interrupt you for a second, because I think this is a huge problem for a lot of people, especially new marketers that are just going to get into this niche. You know, it's I don't know if it's saturated, but I mean, I think there's a bit of a stigma around lead generation just in general, and with realtors, and you know, they're always like, realtors are kind of jumping around from one thing to the next. You know, Zillow leads aren't working, so they go into Facebook leads, and then Facebook leads don't work, and they hop around a lot, right? So new marketers are kind of having a hard time, especially if you don't have the results and you don't have the clients to back you up. What would you like when did you reach out to like people that you knew that were realtors? Or did you just go, you know, like what did that process look like when you first started?
So I did a couple things. One, I made friends with Jennifer in the new real estate agents group, and I don't know what happened. She and I we created a friendship, and she offered me to be a moderator. She said, hey, you can post in my group anytime you want as long as you're a moderator, right? And so I don't abuse that. Sometimes I'll drop a video in there that shows my results. But what I really did was all I did was I cold called the premier agent in every single city. So say you're in Atlanta. If you're the premier agent in Atlanta and I type in your zip code, I'm gonna call you up and say, hey, I'm Russ Ward. I can generate you a ton of leads. Would you give me $50 to generate a ton of leads for you? And some people give me a shot, some people won't, right? And that's how I started it. And I said, if I get you great results, will you at least give me a review? And so what I do is I'd screenshot the results, I'd screenshot the review, post it on social media. Results review. And that's how I built this whole entire thing that I'm doing right now. And I don't know any other way to do it because that's the way I did it. But I'm telling you, if you get results and reviews, you can build anything you want in lead generation.
Hashtag cold call. Hashtag cold call,
Yeah.
guys.
And I'll tell you what, there's another guy out there. His name is Leighton Butler. He might be on this very call.
Leighton's here.
Yeah. And Leighton taught me that. Leighton built his entire business around cold calling realtors on Zillow. All he'd do is he would call them up and he would say, hey, listen, give me a shot. And so Leighton taught me to do that. And Leighton, I'll tell you what, if anybody out there wants to work with somebody who just knows his shit, and he has the coolest accent I've ever heard of a human. He's like, hey man, I'm Leighton. I have the coolest accent ever. Oh. That guy is.
I think I have a call schedule with him tomorrow.
Oh, you should totally get him on your call because he has the coolest accent.
Can you record that, Shane?
Well, I will.
Yeah.
Leighton is so smart, man. I'll tell you what. Like, Leighton and I kind of came up together in this business, and we kind of like compared notes and things like that. But I mean, he taught me to go out and cold call realtors that are on Zillow. And if you do that, what I learned also from Dan Locke, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Dan Locke, but yeah. So Dan Locke says, you help winners win more, right? So if you go out to the premier agent in an area and you can tell them, hey, look, I can boost your game, they're going to give you a shot. And if you can show any kind of results at all, established people that have results will give you a shot. Now, you have to have some type of results. You can't just go to good people and say, hey, man, I'm just starting out. I want to give me a shot. You have to show them something, you know?
And they're paying for the ad spend. Is that right?
Yeah, they always pay for the ad spend, yeah. I mean, if you want to drop 10 grand and give me 10 grand, I'll pay for your ad spend. But, you know, I usually don't get people doing that, you know?
Right. So let's dive back into a little bit about, because I know we're running out of time here, so let's dive back real quick. You know, what were some of your struggles and how did you get past them?
So probably some of my struggles were just limiting beliefs. Like, oh my God, like we're up to $6 ad spend and I don't have a lead, right? And I'd freak out, I'd turn the ad off and I'd start a new ad, right? So my biggest struggles were just like doubting myself. And in reality, once you have an ad set that works and you know it works and you've tested it, and like for instance, me, I didn't believe in myself until I tested it in 20 different markets and it worked in all 20, right? But if it works, just keep going with it, right? My biggest issue was I doubted myself. I didn't have enough self-belief. I had been in such a bad place for such a long time that I thought everything I did would eventually just go to shit. So, you know, and so what I'd recommend to anybody who's out there generating leads is that if it's working, just keep going with it, you know? Just don't quit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because I think part of it too is just you know, when we run ads now, you kind of just know what's going to work now, right? It's like you put an ad together, you put the ad set together, and it just starts to generate leads. You test it out a few different things, but I can definitely see that as a new marketer, you know, having that self doubt. And the other problem too is I think a lot of marketers are very impatient. You know, they put something together, and if it doesn't work within the first 12 hours, they shut it off, right? It's like, you know, you got to give it a little bit of time and you know, let Facebook do its thing and spend a bit of money. And
yeah, if you're not running $100 a day, then you can't judge things by 12-hour span.
Yeah, and it's funny because almost 100% of my clients do $10 a day, right? And it's because that's what they can afford. I don't blame them. I mean, it's their budget. Their budget's $300 a month, right? And so I meet them where they're at. But fortunately, I have a system in place that I can still get them relatively good price leads, right?
So you build out the ad for them, or are you just building out the chatbot?
I build everything for them from start to finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you charge that setup, and then you don't charge anything ongoing after that?
I don't, and like I talked about before, I'm in Cat Howell's Academy, and what Cat talks about is you charge a setup fee to set up everything up, and then charge a monthly retainer. I haven't done anything at all like that yet because, quite honestly, it's a limiting belief that I have that like, oh, no one's gonna pay me 10 grand to set their shit up, right? Because
Right.
why would they do that? Because it's so easy for me to do that. Why would they pay me to do it? They don't know it's easy for me to do that because I do this every single day, all day long, right? Some days I sit in my office and I do nothing but run ads all day long for like 18 hours straight. And I don't
Right.
eat, I don't drink, I don't piss, I don't do anything, right? I just run ads.
Yeah.
Sounds like Austin.
But yeah, right.
Austin's been going for a whole week.
Yeah.
Piss all day.
And it's like,
You know what? It's like, where's Austin is the Thursday question, right?
Austin's making money. That's what he's doing.
wait,
Where is
who's Austin? I
If
forget who's
Austin
Austin.
answers your questions in the group, feel honored.
Austin, are you the guy with headphones?
What group?
I've seen so many, like the past week, Austin, I've seen so many people tag you all over the place. And it's like, where is this guy?
Hey, okay, but some of those people message me directly, and I just never send anything.
I get it.
Fair enough.
That's happened. But yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. No, so you would say the biggest challenge that you face is limiting beliefs.
I really would because at first, like, I was so this is gonna sound so silly, but at first I was like, when I was charging $50, I was like, oh my god, I hope they like the results so they don't ask for a refund, right? And then when
Right.
I upped it to $100 and to $200 and to $300, like every step along the way, I would just hope they were happy enough that they wouldn't ask me for a refund because I
Right.
couldn't afford the refund because I just had crazy shit going on in my life, and if they did a chargeback on me, my business was just imploded, right?
Yeah.
So really, that was limiting beliefs. Now I know I can go in any city, I can generate leads at will, but it's weird. I still have this limiting belief that like, oh, maybe I just won't get those results. When I know damn well I'm going to get those results, I still have that limiting belief in my head, And if you can overcome that, it's really hard to overcome limiting beliefs, but
Well, how do you get past it when it becomes an issue?
you just,
Run a shitload of ads.
I mean,
Just get good at it. I think a lot of it comes just with experience. Eventually you start believing what you're doing, and the experience, just gives you that confidence that you can actually do this.
yeah, and when I see customers getting, like clients of mine getting 20, 40, 60 ROI, and I'm like, you know what, this is legit. I actually know what the hell I'm doing, and because people are getting $20,000 commissions. I just had a guy the other day. He told me, hey, I have a closing in a couple of days. I'm going to send you a present. Give me your address, right? I'm like, why are you sending me a present? It was because I made $30,000 on this transaction. He goes, I paid you $1,500. I feel like I want to send you a present, and I haven't got the present yet. But it's just like I can't believe I came from $80 on May 24th.
What was the gift? We all want to know what the gift was now.
Well, it hasn't got here yet. I'm going to show you all. But I mean,
a bunch of cupcakes.
yeah, I don't care what it is, But on May 24th, I hit $80. Now I'm making 10 to 12 grand a month, and I have people telling me they're gonna send me presents. It's just blowing my mind because like just getting good at lead generation has literally changed my whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to hashtag value at the bottom below. Comment hashtag value. If you watch the whole thing, start to finish, hashtag trooper. Let's know who our amazing fans are out there. And guys, again, thank you so much for watching.
I have one more question.
What?
That's the question.
That was like an outro, and then you're like, I have one more question.
Well, you should have asked.
Okay.
Does anybody have any more questions?
All right, fair enough. If you guys have more questions, comment them below. We'll ask those
Speak
questions.
now.
More Shane's question out of the way.
It's not Matt's Whiskey Thursday.
I'll tell you what, Matt. I really want to thank you guys for having me on here because this has been a lot of fun. I've been drinking wine. I'm getting a little buzzy, and stuff. But I mean, I've had a great time with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
For sure. And make sure to stick around after this, so we'll chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
But let's see. So Shane, go ahead and ask your question. We do have a couple questions coming in.
Okay, just one really, really quick question. So for anybody out there that's and I always like to ask this question, any marketers out there that are kind of just getting into this, do you have maybe like one big tip you could give to those guys, or some advice? What would be some advice you'd provide to them?
Yeah, so I probably said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. Always get screenshot social proof and always get reviews. And if you post that all over social media, people will fill your calendar up with people that wanna hire you, right? That's how I took myself from nothing to where I am today. Because I've had probably 40% of the people that hired me to run lead generation campaigns for them say, I picked you because you post real results on your Facebook page instead of what you're going to do. You post what you've already done. So if you have good results, post those good results for the whole world to see so people can see that, hey, I've already done this, you know? And if you haven't already done this, then don't worry about it. Just get good results and charge less for it and then post those results.
Makes sense.
And we talk about this a lot, and I think, like even myself, Matt, Austin, definitely, you're always posting your results in ClickFunnels. I think that's where you've got a lot of your leads,
I mean,
and we
Shane pushed me to start pushing my results because I was extremely shy, I guess you'd say, about posting my results or my experience or anything like that. And Shane has pushed the crap out of me to get that stuff out there. And lo and behold, it brings clients.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of people think that they need to they need to post like really good results and testimonials, and no, all you need to do is just post a screenshot of the leads that you're generating from the Facebook Ads Manager. And then what I like to do is, usually when I first start working with a client, I'll start sending them a message and I'll message them and start asking them about the leads that they're getting. And a lot of the types of campaigns I run and the strategies that I run, it books them appointments fairly quickly in the beginning. And so right away, like the messages that are coming in, it's like, yeah, I got 7 leads, I booked 3 appointments. It's awesome, and you screenshot that, and that's what you post along with your Facebook ads from the ads manager, and that stuff's super powerful.
Well, not only that, but you don't always have to have a 50-cent lead to post results, guys. $5 a lead is still freaking amazing.
Yeah, it
I'll
really
even
is.
go freaking amazing because of the fact that Zillow is $72 a lead on average in my experience. Okay, like we were buying massive leads with the team that I was on from Zillow, and our average lead cost was $72 a lead, and that was not an exclusive lead. So $5 a lead is still a great cost per lead for most real estate agents out there.
And one thing I might add too is that if you are a marketer, make sure you have it in your terms and conditions or your contract that you can screenshot anything the hell you want as long as you block out personal information, right? Because, for instance, all my clients give me access to all their chatbots, and I jump in there constantly and I screenshot the hell out of their chatbots and I post them on Facebook as social proof. If I didn't have permission to do that, I wouldn't do that, right? So make sure it's in your terms and conditions or it's in your contract with your client that you're allowed to do that as long as you block out personal information.
Exactly. And we have 2 more questions here. We'll take 1 more question if you can get it in there quickly. Let's see here. Russ, do you still do real estate deals yourself?
I do not do. I never do real estate deals like, say for instance, I don't do buyer and sellers. However, I will go into a city where I don't have clients and I'll generate leads and I'll refer those out. That's what I do.
Okay. And real quick, why? Tell us a little bit about that because I think there's like an underlying thing there.
The reason is because, say for instance, like right now I don't have any clients in, say, Atlanta, Georgia, right? I know I can generate leads in Atlanta, Georgia for $2.80 each. It would be stupid for me not to generate leads there for my own and refer those to a local agent who can pay me a 25% commission.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely. And if anybody can get Mark Spain, I think Mark Spain is actually the biggest agent in Atlanta. So if you land that one, let us know.
Sounds good.
So last question here. I don't see any others coming in. So how did you become so good in lead gen? Who did you learn from to get so many leads?
So I morphed William Hagman and I morphed I forgot the other guy's name.
But at the end of the day, you have a course where you teach exactly what you learned, right?
Right. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the course real quick, and we'll drop a link below this, or you can drop a link after this.
Yeah. So
in the chat.
Whoa, no spamming.
no spamming, right? So
Calm down.
really, I just found a combination that works, right? So I offer a list of homes under a certain number, and I show a photo slideshow of homes in that area. Send them to a lead farm, and then sends it to a chatbot, and that's what's worked for me off the charts every single city I go in.
Fantastic.
Unless you're
Fantastic.
Colorado or Arizona. I can't do it.
Then it's up in the air.
Colorado's got stuff.
It's funny because I think Joe Sissel is watching this, and Joe is generating leads. He's an agent himself, and he's generating leads for himself for like $1.50 a piece in Colorado. It's crazy,
Really? So I would love to buy his course.
right? Joe, where's your course? No, but anyways, any other questions from you guys?
Thanks, Matt, for asking.
Shane, go ahead and close us out.
You go nuts, man. You've been running the show the whole night. It's all good. I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine with it because I'm not feeling well.
I was gonna say, just so everybody knows, Shane has reached out and said he was sick. And Austin has told us about the amazing deal he got on alcohol last night, or today. Dude, he knew who was going to have to ask the question.
Trader Joe's has premium wine.
Go ahead, Austin.
$5, man.
Listen to this shameless
Boulay
plug.
Rose. I don't even know. I buy a wine I don't even know how to pronounce because it's like $5 and it's normally 15.
You do, man.
Organic.
He's $5. He's going home and he goes, "Hey, guess how much I saved us
Mine was
today?"
$7, man. So whatever.
Guys, I got you all beat because I got Aldi wine for $2.89.
Hey, we have $2. We do have $2.
If you have an Aldi near you, hashtag Aldi rocks.
We got $2 Chuck here, man.
Do you?
Yeah, dude.
I gotta find
bro.
that.
Where are you from,
Trader
Austin?
Joe's. Trader
You're from
Joe's.
Oklahoma, right?
That's good
Yeah,
stuff.
bro.
Cool.
You gotta go.
Well, Russ, thank you so much for being on here and giving out so much information. Stick around. Don't hang up real quick,
All right.
and we're going to talk a little bit more. But again, thank you, everyone,
Thanks, everybody.
who joined in. If you guys enjoyed this, hashtag value. If you stuck around through the end, hashtag trooper. And we'll talk to you next week on Whiskey Thursday. Take care.
Sounds awesome.
And this is like the awkward moment when wireless takes a while to end the broadcast.
Is this still on? Yeah, I see.
Oh, dude, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate
All
it.
right, there we go.
A little delay.
There we go.
That was good, guys. Very good.
That's good stuff.
All right. See you guys later. Good
Are you
night.
taking off for us? Or taking off,
Yep.
Austin? Awesome.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Matt. I really appreciate it. It was really fun.
For sure, stick around,
See
you
you
guys.
guys. All right.
Take care, Austin. Shane, you stick around?
I think Shane's gone already.
You can go to bed. Cool.
This is awesome.